So I was thinking to start this mech challenge here, I would show you kind of just maybe the first step of building a foot um, in Maya. So I have my mech here, and you can see in the finished product, I think I showed you this already, but it will be able to walk and move. We'll look at advanced joints, so it's kind of time to build the mech. And I like to always start with the feet. It's just a simple shape. And I think what I was going to do is kind of model this one here, which is actually the AT in Star Wars, and I've always loved this foot. So it's helpful to find a reference image, and to put in a reference image, you want to make sure you're in one of the probably the front view here, or side view, front or side, and you would need to go to View, Image Plane, and Import Image. That's how you would get an image in, and it helps to serve as a reference. And once you get it into the side or the front view, you can come back to this view and move it where you want. I'm just going to kind of move it aside here so I can be looking. And I think it's helpful to use a reference. It's hard to model from scratch, and that's why I have this one here. So you kind of just big things first. Think about what shape you want to start with. A lot of times it's going to be a cube, but in this case it's going to be a cylinder. So I'm just going to grab a cylinder here, and it's okay if it's large. You can always shrink it later. And it just looks like it might taper just a hair here at the top. So always be looking at this first. How many sides are you going to need? How many subdivisions? All that. Usually go 0 on the cap. Just makes it easier for me. And it could be a little bit more round. I might go 25. I'm going to go to face mode. Just select this face. You notice I don't have the dots on mine. If you don't have them, you should put them on. Let's go to View. No, so Edit. No, what is it? It's Windows, Settings and Preferences, Plugin Manager. Nope, sorry. To get those back, we got to go to Preferences. Windows, Settings and Preferences, Preferences. I'm going to go to Selection and Center. I don't know if you remember this, but this allows the dots to be there. And if you're working on a PC, I think it is under Edit Preferences, possibly. I'm forgetting, but put on your dots. It makes it a little easier. I can click on the dot, select the face, and as I said, I think it just tapers just a hair here. Okay, and I think it's a little flatter too. All right, looks like it kind of has this ridge here, so I'm gonna press extrude, and I'll just shrink it a little bit. Then I'll press extrude again, and I'll press extrude again, bring it out, and press extrude again, and come up. It's not going to be much higher. Okay, good. Now I'll press extrude again, I'll come up, and I'll shrink that down. Okay, I'll press extrude. I'm going to sink this because it looks like there's a little bit of a crevice there. Let's look at this now. I'll press extrude again. Remember, G is to extrude again, or G is the previous command key. Okay, now I'm going to come up. Looks like it's pretty high here. I'll shrink it down, scale it, and I'll just make one more. Okay. All right, good. So there's that one part. Let's see what that looks like. How do we get these? Well, let's take a look. It looks like we have some faces we can take here. But if you like, this is maybe the width of the foot, of the kind of the toe here, but it's too tall. So let's use an edge loop. So that's under Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. You might need an edge loop to help to add divisions that might not have been added in the beginning. So right there, now I have kind of the width of the toes that I need. I go back to face mode. I'm off of the edge loop tool. I'm going to take maybe these two here, and I'll take these two. Careful not to select anything behind it. And these two. And these. Okay. And I'll press extrude. Holding shift, you're able to select multiple faces at the same time. So you can see it's coming out. Now this is going to be tricky. Watch this. If I move them down, looks like some move up, some move down. This is kind of strange, right? This happens. Well, it's kind of weird. I'll orbit so you can see. Again, let me try that again. If I'm trying to move these toes down, but some move up and down, right? There's this little symbol here when you're on the extrude tool. It looks like it's like a power symbol, right? So if I click that, it allows this to scale like this. So if I want that to really exactly, I might just go to this view so I can see if it's kind of going below it. So nice and straight. Perfect. Okay. And it looks like it's going to have to shrink a little. So, and it tapers this way too. Oop. I might have to click that again so it scales. Let's see, is this the one? That's that. That's that. Okay. They might need to be scaled separately, but all right, let's just make sure that they're nice and straight though. I'm going to come back to that power symbol thing. Move this straight down now. Okay. All right, let's look at that in object mode. And that looks good. And if I did want those to be a little bit smaller, I can just one at a time kind of do this. That'd be fine. Come on, last one. All right. Perfect. So there's my foot, and I can later on duplicate this, but that one I'm going to call done. There's other things you could do. I could, let's start with a cube just to show you. What if I just did want to start with a cube? I could add some divisions. So I'll go to my polycube and 3, 3, 3 maybe. And as I said, it's helpful to have a something to look at, even if you're not going to take, I'm not going to model the ATST, but I'm going to take its, I liked its foot, so I'm going to, pick and choose parts of things that I like. You can see right away, look, I'm with a cube, adding some divisions. I can do some things with this as well. So what if I took these faces here? I'm going to extrude those out. Press extrude. And I come that blue arrow out, and I kind of like the way that looks. I'm going to scale that. Oop. I'll scale it proportionally. I'll come back to this view. I'm going to push that down. I might need to click that power symbol looking thing. Get this down right. Okay, good. And maybe some extra details because it's a little plain. All right. Well, maybe I'll take some faces here. Maybe these right down the center here. I'll just press extrude. I'll sync with the blue arrow. Good. And maybe I'll blue arrow. Object mode. Okay. So just by adding some details, just taking a few faces, maybe I'll just do the 2 of these on the side here. I'll press extrude and we'll see what happens if they come out a little bit. Right. Just like that. And there's another foot. Right? So think about Mech Feet this week. And when you get something, you could take just a picture if you want with your phone. Let me just take a look at what it looks like. I can help you better if you're working from an image. Then I can really kind of help you if you want. You can model from scratch. You can model from an image. That's up to you, but we're looking at Mech Feet this week. Okay, so post me a picture of what you've done on Thursday or Friday at the end of the week. All right. Good luck, everybody. Remember, email me if you have any troubles.